I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Reflections. I am your host, Dr. Sherwin Rainey. We have been looking at anger from the standpoint of the problem. Now we want to look at anger from the perspective of tools and keys that can be used in the solution process. And I would use the acronym HELP. Today I would only talk about the H in help. And the first point that I would want to bring to your attention is, especially for those of us who have been on the receiving end of what we can simply call a toxic deficient type behavior, that you have to have the ear to hear. You got to have the ear to hear. You got to hear not just from what you see, which is more physical and physiological, but sometimes you got to have the ability to hear from a spiritual perspective, a spiritual place. You got to have the ability to hear from an emotional standpoint, because the cry for help can manifest itself in different ways. It may be in silence. It may be in an agitated type of behavior. It may be in frequent or infrequent bouts of depression. The cry for help may manifest itself in very angry, agitated vocal outbursts. The cry for help may be someone just at one point in time coming to terms with some realities and shouting out, "I don't know what to do anymore, I need help." Or it may be a question of someone just silently saying to somebody else or to you, "I need help." When the cry for help is heard, know that the person who you are listening to wants to be heard. So you are hearing, that person also wants to be heard. And so when we come to terms with this reality, I think that the third H would be to understand that the environment is filled with hurt. It's a painful environment. And that will differ based on the extent of this behavior or the parties involved. It differs. Relationship will impact on how this would have taken some kind of effect. At this stage, I believe it's time for you to seek the help of a mediator or some form of intervention. A mediator may take the form of a pastor, a school teacher, a trusted friend, an independent intervention specialist, but you need to have some intervention, because that is what determines how timing is going to be qualified in the context of the solution. Timing may not always be perfect, but opportunity may present itself. And so when you have these factors in place and you get all the main players, the major stakeholders engaged and involved, I want to say to the victims, quote unquote, that what you must do is put on the garment of humility. You must humble yourself and wait for the opportunity along the line of process when you would be able to speak and give a clear indication as to how this impacted you. Trust the role of the intervention specialist, the mediator. Allow humility to be the way you deal with this. Give up your quote-unquote rights. Your heart must be in this. And this is difficult because your heart has been broken so many times. But let me just punctuate this. God says that He will heal the brokenhearted. And yes, your heart has been broken because you have been going through this pain and receiving these crazy outbursts for so long. But if help is here right now, then you got to put your whole heart into it. What is the next most important step in this is for as much as is practicably possible to create what I call a healthy environment. And that will differ because it's situational and it's based on a lot of logistical and external factors. But that is relative. You are more concerned with the opportunity. And you must come to terms with the fact that it's a healing process. Healing takes on different forms. And in the healthcare environment, if a person is diabetic, it may be a cause of surgery, immediate surgery being done to remove a limb to save the rest of the body. And sometimes, just so in anger, it sometimes calls for what I call radical intervention, where that person may be at a point in the display of anger where their help requires psychological and clinical help. On the other hand, in the medical field, surgery may not be necessary. It may be medication application, prescription application. And so too, in this process, there may be the need for the application of love and care and understanding, which we will get into as we proceed. So today I want to deposit these thoughts. 1, you got to have the ear to hear. 2, not only to hear but understand that the other party needs to be heard. 3, it's a hurting environment. 4, humble yourself. 5, come with your heart fully engaged into this. 6, try as much as is practicably possible to create a healthy environment. And 7, it's a healing process. I am Dr. Sherwin Ramey, your host on Reflections. Thank you so much for being a part of this experience. We really look forward to hearing from you. May the grace and peace of God be with you. Until next time, thank you.